Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here for the first time, welcome. My name is Angela and I find my paradise through reading. Yes, I do. It's been a little while. I feel like, I think it's been a couple weeks since I posted my last video. I've been busy with reading and with house projects and just family changes. A lot of exciting things going on. But I did want to give you an update on what I've been reading and what I've been up to. So, first, I'm sitting here and I am journaling, right? So, y'all know, right? So, I'm here just like decorating and writing. That's what my journaling kind of looks like. So, yeah, so there's all that. And if you hear any like pounding or like noise or drilling, I actually have some workers here working on my attic, which is an amazing project that I'm super excited about, because up in the attic is just the most incredible space. It's just such a cool looking attic, and it's about like 500 square feet, and I've always wanted to renovate it and turning it into a livable space. So it'll be my bedroom. So I have the HVAC people here now putting in mini splits, and so it'll provide the heating and AC for that attic. So I'll give you guys a tour of that in another video, probably my next one, because I think it'll be really cool to share that with you guys. So yeah, if you hear any drilling and guys screaming and ladders and things like that, that's what's going on in the background. But yeah, I'm here journaling, and so I want to show you the reality of what this looks like, honestly, because people are like, oh yeah, journaling, and you see all of these cute videos, people just like all organized. Okay, no, this is my reality. Let's just show you real quick what kind of mess is happening here. Seriously, that's what I'm dealing with, and that's not even all of it. There's like more on the other side of the table. So I just bring all kinds of stuff out, and there's just scraps and my little scissors and glue tape and a little bit of everything everywhere. My Altoids tin, and I have that like with stickers in there. I have my box of different washi tapes, and it's just very therapeutic, but a little stressful too, because there's just like this big mess everywhere, and I would love to call it organized chaos, but no, it's not. I can't find anything. I'm just like wasting so much time trying to find what I'm looking for. So yeah, look at this sticker book. Very pretty. So yeah, I'll find a way to organize this at some point. But I was here, I was journaling, and I was like, let me do an update on the books that I've been reading. Okay, I'm gonna leave like the best one for last. I haven't gotten through a whole lot of books so far. Honestly, I mean, we're well past, we're past midway through September, and honestly, three, and one is not even done. So like 2 3/4. So the first one I'm going to talk about is A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. The reason I was reading this book is because it is one of the 100 greatest books ever written. It's on that Easton Press list, which is what I'm following. I'm trying to read all of those books. And so I was like, okay, I've been reading a lot of real big, thick chonkers, so let me grab like a smaller book from that list. And so I'd grabbed this one, and no. I'm sorry, James Joyce fans. This is my first book that I read of James Joyce, and I this was painful. Like literally, like I had to force myself. If this weren't on that list, I would have DNF'd it. Hands down. It was like a chore to get through this book. I understand this is, you know, showing what like Irish Catholicism life was like back in early 1900s. It just was just not it for me. I did not like, I was lost half the time. It was jumping from one thing to another. There was no transition. I wasn't sure what was going on. And then there was, I guess, like a lot of things that we aren't familiar with here in the US. So it was hard to like figure out what they were talking about. Like even when they're talking about their grades, as far as like schooling goes, you know, and ma'am, okay, where's my gun? No. I have a cat gun, and my dog keeps like growling and barking at the workmen as they come in and out. And so sometimes I'll just point it at her. I never shoot it at her. Trust me. I don't know why she doesn't like it. She doesn't like anything being pointed at her. I can like point my fingers at her and she doesn't like it. But anyways. Okay. So yeah, it was just, yeah, there was just like no transition. There was a lot going on here as far as like people's positions and just the life in general. There was just a lot of things I didn't get, and I didn't find the writing or the story interesting enough for me to look it up, honestly. I mean, maybe it's all on me. It's all on me. I'll take the blame for thinking this was like one of the worst books I ever read. So I'm crossing this off of my list. I am going to actually donate this. And it's a shame because I have been so pleasantly surprised, stunned, and fully enjoying so many of the books that are on that list. I mean, I have a whole bunch of favorites because this list really, these books have been amazing. So every once in a while, I'll come across something like this where I'm like, I don't get it. I am so disappointed because I've been spoiled with, you know, reading so many of the books on that list that have been phenomenal, like way before their time, just blew me out of the water and became favorites. And then but you know, you win some, you lose some, I guess. This wasn't for me. I'm sorry. If you guys love this, like tell me why and what am I missing? What is it? Like, why is this on that list? Why is it by far the most living and convincing picture that exists of an Irish Catholic upbringing? The technique is startling, a most memorable novel. And that's from H.G. Wells. And I love H.G. Wells and his writing. So, I don't know. Donations. All right. Next, we have Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke. So Rainer Maria Rilke. So here's the thing. I am not familiar with Rilke and his poetry writing. So this is like my first. Okay. From his name, like Rilke, and just like the design of this book, I assumed that he was from India. So I assumed he was Indian. It just looks, and the name seems Indian to me. So, and then I saw the middle name, Maria, and I was like, is this a woman? I have no idea. So come to find out, it was a man and he was German. So wrong on all accounts for me. Beautiful book. And so this young man, this student, is writing to Rilke to get advice from him about writing, because this guy would like to be a poet. And so this is a collection of the letters that Rilke sent to him. So there were 10 letters over the course of a number of years. And he does give him advice on writing poetry, writing in general. But then it's more than that. It's just like advice on life and solitude and being an artist or a creator, and just like connecting with your emotions. And so there's just a lot of like beautiful advice and quotes, and there's just a lot of life in those 10 letters. And that I am interested now in reading his poetry, because his letters were like almost poetry themselves, very poetic, very beautifully written. And I was just like, whoa, yeah, hold on, let me see what I have highlighted. And again, it's hard sometimes to share some things that I've noted, because like out of context, maybe they won't make as much sense. So I try to find things that you could take a snippet out of it and it would make some kind of sense without having to read the whole Storm Runner Dognado. Anyway, so let me see. Things are not all so comprehensible and expressible as one would mostly have us believe. Most events are inexpressible, taking place in a realm which no word has ever entered. And more inexpressible than all else are works of art, mysterious existences, the life of which, while ours passes away, endures. You are looking outward, and that above all you should not do now. Nobody can counsel and help you. Nobody. There is only one single way. Go into yourself. And then he goes on, and then it says, then draw near to nature. If your daily life seems poor, do not blame it. Blame yourself. Tell yourself that you are not poet enough to call forth its riches. For to the Creator there is no poverty and no poor indifferent place. Come on, like there's just, so there's so much goodness in these letters. And I recommend this. If you haven't read this book, or if you've read some of his like poetry, I'm going to get one of his poetry books. I'll recommend it. I was going to say, I'm going to see what people recommend. You folks, please, if you're familiar with his poetry, recommend me a collection and I will go get it, because I do want to read some more. This was thumbs up. Okay. So this book that I have been reading for since September 1st, pretty much, I could kick myself in the butt for waiting so long and for just pushing it off month after month. And this book is just absolutely incredible. Way more than I like expected. This book is, it's going to be a new favorite. It is a new favorite. So let me show you this. Okay, it's a chunker. I don't know what it is with me and chunkers. I feel like a lot of my favorites are big books. I mean, other than Of Mice and Men, which is like very, very tiny, most of my books are just like massive. And this is no exception. Okay, look at this guy. Okay, this is The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. Look at this. this beauty, absolute beauty. This is where I'm at. So, chapter 66, page 559. All right. So, and this book is 715 pages long. So, I gotta say, folks, this book, I didn't know anything about it. Oprah's Book Club. Okay, I'd never heard of it. Never heard anyone talking about it. My colleague recommended this book, and I was like, yeah. Like, it's a big one. I'll get around to it. And so I put it off for months. I kept adding it to my TBR list for the month, and then I'd like move it to the next month. And so finally I was like, let me just get this over and done with, right? No, man, oh my gosh. This book, so with some big like chonkers, there's like there are some scenes where you're just like, oh my gosh, this is going on. So it's just long for no reason. You'll have these big hunks of space where it's like you could have cut all of that out. Not necessary, but no, with this one, no. It is so fluid, and it goes, and it doesn't feel like anything is wasted. It does not feel like there are unnecessary scenes, there's unnecessary writing there, and it is so interwoven and complex and beautiful. The writing, the writing, it is incredible. So okay, let's see. This is India. So we're talking about South India, I believe. And this is, so far, at least at the point where I am, this is spanning 3 generations. So this starts in 1900 with this 12-year-old Indian girl, Mariama. And her father passed away. And so it's she and her mother, and they are staying with her father's brother, and they are a burden. Okay, they're a burden to them. And so her father's brother finds a match for this girl. She's 12 years old, and he marries her off to a 40-year-old widower with a son, I think he's like maybe 2 or 3 years old. So that's how this starts. And you're like, oh my gosh, what the smacks. But this is such a beautiful, beautiful story. This follows so many different people, and Mariama and her husband and their children and their children's children, and the evolution of like rights and changes in culture and lifestyle in India. Religious beliefs, political beliefs, differences, the community, the caste system. Oh my goodness. And oh my God, I can't even, like, the characters, you get so attached to them, and there's so much tragedy. There's just so much tragedy there. And your heart breaks. And even when you're thinking, oh, love at first sight, oh my gosh, this is so sweet, this is wonderful, and wonderful, you think, wonderful things are happening, and then it's just like, boom, and goes downhill. And but that's life, right? Like, it's such an honest depiction of life and people, and you just never know. I mean, 100%, 200% recommend reading this book. If you've read it, please tell me what your thoughts are. And I I know I'm like nearing the end and I don't want it to be over. I don't know how it's going to end. Is there an end? I can't imagine that there would be, because it just feels like it should just keep going on forever until present day. Like, because you just feel like you're traveling through time and traveling through this country, and this is one of those books that really takes you out of your own country, of your own present day mentality, and then it just throws you into this culture that's just so different, and you're learning so much. And then there's even a, I think, German, it follows even a German character who had his own tragedies and came to India. He ended up becoming a doctor and then went to India to get more practice and learn more with medicine. So, it's following him as well. So, and then other English people and that are in India, and what's going on, and how the natives like interact with the white people. It was just wow. Like, and then just education, and the evolution of like, oh, now women can go to school, they can be doctors. And whereas like in 1900, a girl's best dream was to find a good match and a good husband, and things like that. It was just this book is everything. It is everything. And his writing, like I said, it's beautiful. It is so well written. It is so fluid. And I feel like I have to go through it again. And this is going to be on my reread list, because I want to go through it again. And because sometimes with some books, you go through it and you're just like, wow. And then when you go through it a second time, like, you'll pick up on a lot of things that you missed, or because you have the whole background and you kind of know what's going on, you can look for those little things that you missed the first time around. It's going to be on my reread list for sure, for I guess next year, because I can't say enough about this book. I can't imagine that any other book that I read this month is going to knock this one out of my number one place for the month of September. I don't see that happening. Anyways, well, that is all I had for you for today, and I am going to let you go because I hear ladders and stuff, so which means they're going to be drilling through brick walls in any minute. So, yeah, let me know. Tell me if you have any experience with Rilke and what your recommendation is for me to start with reading some of his poetry. Let me know if you read A Portrait of the Artist as a young man, and what am I missing? Like, I feel like I'm missing something. I don't get it. And I wanted to like it so much. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And then The Covenant of Water. If we can talk about this, let's do it, because my God, guys, like, this is wow. There's just always that book that, I don't want to say that you discover, but it's almost like that book discovers you. And one of the things that I love about this, and that kind of sticks out to me, one thing that, like, it was just kind of something that I thought about. There's one of the characters wants to go away to college because he read Moby Dick and he just fell in love with literature. And so he goes off to college because he wants to study literature, and then his experience there was like, oh my gosh, like, they really took the enjoyment out of literature for him. He said, like, all of the reading material was really dry. All of the lectures were really dry. None of the assigned reading was anything that he would have read for pleasure. So he hated it, and he ended up having to leave for some reasons. But like just throughout this book, and because of like my own reading history, I was able to pick up on a lot of the references to other books, and just know, how do you say it? But it was like, oh, because I read those books, I get what they're saying. I get it. Like, one of the characters says, um, well, at least you have two legs, whereas Ahab only had one. And that was like a reference to Moby Dick. And there was references to Great Expectations. There was references to, let me see. I mean, there were just like so many references to books that I had read that I just, it just kind of made me happy. Or I'm like, oh, I read that. I know what they're talking about. Whereas I feel like if you don't have that history, it's just kind of going to go over your head a little bit. But yeah, anyways, that's all I had for you today. And let's talk about these books, because this is fantastic. I'm going to have this done by this weekend, and then I'm going to be probably starting another chonker, which is the Jonathan Morrill and Doctor Strange. I don't know. I could be butchering that, but it's a big chunker. It is also on the list of 100 greatest books ever written, and I hear great things about that one, and I'm excited. So happy reading to you all, folks, and I will be talking to you again soon. Happy reading. Bye.